representing the 3rd District on the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, Vice Chairwoman Kristen Gaspar.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2017 State of the County Address presented by our Chairwoman, Diane Jacob. Now, you may have a seat. Well, my name is Kristen Gaspar, and I am your proud representative for District 3, also your MC this morning for the next 4.5 hours as we cover everything there is to know about county government. But first, allow me to introduce my colleagues because I also need to get to know them as well. Representing the 4th District, we have Supervisor Ron Roberts. Representing District 5, Supervisor Bill Horn. Representing District 1, Supervisor Greg Cox. And the woman of the hour, who needs no introduction, representing District 2, our Chairwoman, Supervisor Diane Jacob. Also proud to introduce this morning, Under Sheriff Mark Elvin. Our District Attorney, Bonnie Dumanis. Everybody's personal favorite this time of year, our Treasurer Tax Collector, Dan McAllister. Who's also reminding you to pay on time to avoid penalties, our Assessor Recorder Clerk, Ernie Dronenberg. And our fabulous Chief Administrative Officer, Helen Robbins-Meyer. Okay, so let's tackle the elephant in the room. I'm the new kid on the block. Now, I've been your county supervisor for almost a month. Yes, thank you very much. And I was still learning where my parking space was at the county building when I was selected to serve as the vice chair. So a thank you to my colleagues for allowing me to ease into the job. But then there's our chairwoman, Diane Jacob. Now, 7 is a big number for Diane this year. And in a few hours, you'll learn why. But as of last month, she started her historic 7th term as a county supervisor. Yeah. You may not know that she has actually held elective office longer than any other official in San Diego County government history. So to put that into even greater perspective for you, I've been a county supervisor for 25 long days. Now, Diane, 25 years. And when Diane was launching her first successful campaign to become a county supervisor, I was in the middle of my first successful campaign, running for Mission Estancia Elementary School class president. This is true. Now, clearly, she loves her constituents. They love her too. And she's not afraid to occasionally get a little rough and tumble out there in East County. Actually, it's more than upon occasion, really. But in all seriousness, Diane, you are a dedicated public servant, and we are so pleased to have you serving in this role. And just watch your relentless passion for your job and dedication to your community. So thank you for your service. Now, I wouldn't be too good of a government official if I didn't tell you at this time to pull out your cell phone. There's a little button on the side. Now, it shuts the phone off to avoid any future embarrassment. Now, our undersheriff is up here too if we need further enforcement. We are not light on crime here at the county, so please don't let your phone be ringing here. If you'll now please rise for the invocation and remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem. Leading us in the pledge this morning is Vietnam veteran Dan Foster, who served in the U.S. Army. Dan led the creation of the Veterans Wall of Honor in Alpine. Dan.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless each and every one of you. God bless Supervisor Diane Jacob, and God bless the United States of America.
And leading us in the invocation this morning is Deputy District Attorney Wendy Patrick.
Let us begin by thanking God for another year of blessings and challenges. We ask Him to equip us to accept the past and embrace the future, working together to achieve common goals. We ask you to bless, God, this lively group of dedicated and enthusiastic community leaders assembled, striving to enhance the success and prosperity of San Diego County. Thank you for their courage, their service, for coming to work day after day, determined to explore every available resource to improve the health, safety, and quality of life for San Diegans. We have put our trust in them and pray your Spirit continues to guide them as they model servant leadership and continue the relentless pursuit of a better life for all. As we seek your nearness, we count our many blessings, yet we also ask for the strength to use the blessings you've given us to enhance our leadership. In the midst of disagreement, help us to learn patience. When facing loss, help us to learn both sympathy and empathy. When achieving success, help us to learn gratitude. If we are lucky enough to attain prosperity, help us to learn generosity. And when we are praised, help us to learn humility. This morning, we pray you will infuse our leaders with selfless passion, mutual respect, collective wisdom, and a dose of good humor as we work together to improve the lives of the community members we serve. Because we don't know what tomorrow holds, but we know who holds tomorrow. May your Spirit guide us and our loved ones all of our days. In your name we pray, amen.
And here to sing the national anthem this morning is Cassie Bowerman, born and raised in La Mesa and now part of the great local band, the Cassie B Project. Cassie.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Cassie. You can please take your seats. Well, today we're honored to be joined by many, many dignitaries. So if you'll please stand up when I call your name. Now, I recognize some of you are way more popular than others. So we're going to hold the applause so nobody feels bad. And if that's not enough, we will literally be here 4.5 hours if you do not comply with this simple request. Here we go. Representing the City of San Diego, Councilmember Chris Cate, Councilmember Lori Zapp, City Attorney Mara Elliott. From the City of Carlsbad, Mayor Matt Hall. From the city of Coronado, Councilmember Bill Sankey. From the city of Chula Vista, Councilmember Stephen Padilla. From the city of El Cajon, Councilmember Steve Goebel. From the city of Escondido, Mayor Sam Abed. Councilmember John Mason. Councilmember Ed Gallo. From the city of Imperial Beach, Mayor Serge Dedina. Councilmember Ed Spriggs. From the city of La Mesa, Councilmember Christine Alicio. From the city of Oceanside, Councilmember Jerry Kern. From the city of Poway, Mayor Steve Voss, Deputy Mayor Barry Leonard, and Councilmember Jim Cunningham. From the city of San Marcos, Councilmember Chris Orlando. From the city of Santee, Mayor John Minto, Councilmember Ron Hall, Councilmember Stephen Houlihan, Councilmember the newbie Brian Jones. Good showing from Santee. From the city of Vista, Councilmember Amanda Rigby. From the Barona Band of Mission Indians Tribal Council, Councilwoman Bonnie LaChapa. Okay, here we go. Round of applause for our dignitaries this morning. Now, if you'll please stand, if we embarrassingly left you out, we'd like to provide you a round of applause as well. Okay, seeing none, we're all good. Thank you also to those representing our school districts this morning, our fire districts, water districts, and other agencies. Would you please stand at this time to be recognized? Now, it is my honor to introduce my colleague and our 2017 chairwoman, Supervisor Diane Jacob.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and thank you, Kristen, and welcome to all of you, and good morning. I appreciate all of you being here this morning. You know, one of the many benefits of having Kristen on the board is our average age just took a nosedive. So this morning, we're going to take a look forward, but today, before we do that, we're going to take a look back. So Ron, Bill, Greg, the four of us have served on this board for more than 20 years. I know, can you believe it? We just don't look a day older than when we went to San Diego State. I learned back then not to take a lot of bull, and I don't. We're not a flashy bunch. We don't tweet every 20 minutes. We aim to have more lasting impact than 120 characters. The four of us teamed up more than 2 decades ago to build a better county government, and we have stuck to our guns. Sacramento and Washington, that was nice. Sacramento and Washington are often snake pits. That's not us. We're not about chaos, we're about competence. We're not about gridlock. We get things done, and we have. In the 90s, we set out to fix a broken county government on the brink of bankruptcy. It was making headlines for all the wrong reasons: shoddy budgeting, weak policies, multi-million-dollar boondoggles. We brought in top-notch managers with real-world business experience to rethink the way we operate and to whip our finances into shape. While we face new and emerging challenges, we have come a long way. For 6 years in a row, we've had AAA credit ratings. We've broken ground with initiatives like the Alzheimer's Project, Live Well San Diego, and our open space conservation program. Supervisor Roberts and Supervisor Cox have always worked hard to address the homelessness issue. Last year, they launched Project One for All to help the severely mentally ill get off the street and into services. And I know Supervisor Gaspar will complement this effort as we look for ways to invest our critical mental health dollars. Meanwhile, Supervisor Horn has made sure our veterans don't get left behind. Over the weekend, he took part in the first North County Veterans Stand Down to connect those who have served our country with services and support. We can tackle these issues because our $5.4 billion budget is solidly in the black. We've tackled a lot of tough issues over the years, and we've had our disagreements. We will again, and just last week we did. But the state of our county is stronger today, more resilient, more financially sound, because when it matters most, we pull together. And we may need to pull together this year like never before. If cuts and shifts at the state level proposed by Governor Brown go through, along with possible changes in California's health insurance marketplace, we may be looking at a $100 million hit to our budget. Shift and shaft by the state is nothing new. We've seen it before, and we stand ready to fight once again, and we will fight back. However, the calendar is catching up with us. Term limits are here. A new generation of leaders will soon guide the county. And at the head of that wave is our new colleague, Supervisor Gaspar. Let me just say again, Kristen, it's really good having another woman on the board, but more than that, it's great having your fresh perspective and ideas. And what a great introduction. Thank you. But I have to tell you, us seasoned hands up here, we're not ready to ride off into the sunset just yet, not yet. There's still a lot to do. Thanks to our Chief Administrative Officer, Helen Robbins-Meyer, and her great executive team, we are well managed, and we are blessed with 17,000 employees who give their all each and every day. But only 1 month into 2017, we face major challenges on the home front. And my talk today is about how we can meet them. So here's my 7 in 17. 7 ways we can build an even better county government. 7 ways that we can better serve the public and lay out a roadmap for the future. 7 ways to make sure we pass on a county government that serves the people and does the people proud. So first, let's be streetwise. We've got a big problem out where the rubber meets the road. Our main source of money for maintenance is running out. The county maintains 2,000 miles of road. That's enough to go from here to Chicago. So keeping these streets up to speed, keeping them safe, is one of our most important jobs. Reliable roads are not only the lifeblood of our communities and economy, they are lifelines during a wildfire or other emergency. But our main source of money for road upkeep, state gas tax revenue, is collapsing. In the past 5 years, San Diego County's annual share of the revenue has dropped some 21%. Over the same stretch, we've reached a milestone, and it's not a good one. The county's pavement condition index, that's a national rating system for streets, dropped to 60 in September. That's our lowest level ever. A 70 is considered acceptable. 60 is not. These numbers matter. They matter because the lower the rating, the more it costs to repair and maintain these roads. So the more we invest to keep our streets safe, the better for motorists and the better for taxpayers. For now, we're tapping into county savings to backfill the loss, spending about $20 million just last year. Our 2,000 miles of road in the unincorporated area are a $2.7 billion public asset, and we need a long-term funding plan to protect and improve that asset. Supervisor Horn and I are bringing this critical issue to the board. 2 weeks from today, we will formally ask staff to identify funding options to ensure that we boost our road condition benchmark to at least 70 within 5 years. Maintaining streets is not a frill, it's a core responsibility, and the public expects us to meet it. We're in a fix with our parks too. I believe we need a new model for building and maintaining them, which brings me to number 2, green light for green projects. As much as I like energy sustainability, today I'm talking about parks, the original green project. Our county park system is a beauty, and it's one of only 13 county systems in the whole United States accredited by a National Commission of Park and Recreation Agencies. Millions of people visit our parks each year. They head to places like Jess Martin Park, Tijuana River Valley, and the Waterfront Park. These places sustain us. They keep our communities healthy and whole. And building and maintaining these parks are among the county's core responsibilities. But we need to strip away the barriers that make it tougher to develop new parks. Some of those are out-of-date policies, others are financial. But we need to continue to work with viable nonprofit groups and strengthen the partnerships that help us maintain some of these facilities. But that's not enough. We need to also make sure the county lives up to its promise to build more parks. Supervisor Cox knows what I'm talking about. No one has worked harder to improve park space and trails in the Tijuana River Valley and along San Diego Bay. I mean, he'll probably be buried under the Bayshore Bikeway. Greg has agreed to join me next month in bringing this issue to the board. We will call for the creation of a sustainable endowment fund to provide crucial dollars to operate and maintain new parks and existing ones. You see, we're lucky. Our region is blessed with natural beauty and recreational opportunities, but we must safeguard these treasures long into the future, and we will do it. So parks are just one piece of our budget. The county is one of the region's largest employers and a big driver of our economy. We have thousands of dedicated people in the field, librarians, health inspectors, engineers, nurses. Our county team is used to seeing a lot of hard hats too. We've completed 45 major projects just within the past decade, using cash to pay for the bulk of the work. This has saved taxpayers more than $1 billion in interest payments within the past 10 years. Sound fiscal management is a hallmark of this Board of Supervisors. The same goes for the county pension system, which brings me to number 3. Confronting the pension challenge. 2 years ago, the usually low-key County Retirement Association was in crisis on the management side and on the investment side. While the Board of Supervisors doesn't control the retirement system, county services, resources, and employees, and retirees too, are affected. At that time, I joined with Dan McAllister and Samantha Begovich on the retirement board to engineer a major overhaul. We brought in David Wesco, a crackerjack CEO, and a new executive team, and we scrubbed our internal operations. We swapped out a high-risk, high-leverage investment strategy for a prudent one rooted in market reality. These improvements are expected to save the pension fund more than $1 billion over the next 20 years in just operation and investment costs of that fund. In recent years, the Board of Supervisors has also taken steps to keep a lid on pension expenses. This includes cutting benefits for new workers and asking employees to shoulder more of the cost. Not easy. Our pension reform efforts since 2006 are expected to save taxpayers $2.2 billion over 20 years. We have done a lot to right the ship, but we need to do more. The pension system is facing rising costs at a time of declining investment returns. Our employee organizations know that to sustain our defined benefit plan, we must work together once again to make changes in future pension benefits to reduce the burden on taxpayers and preserve vital county services. It's estimated that the creation of a new tier alone for future employees could eventually save the pension system more than $21 million annually. So as our pension costs rise, so is the size of our senior population. Just look up here. Which brings us to number 4. Prepare for the silver surge. Those 65 and older are the fastest growing age group in our county. Their population will roughly double in less than 20 years. I talked about this 3 years ago in my State of the County speech, the silver tsunami that is already putting our region to the test. For many families, the biggest challenge is Alzheimer's disease. More than 62,000 San Diegans today have Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. It is our 3rd leading cause of death. So standing up here in 2014, I announced the creation of the Alzheimer's Project, a nationally recognized initiative aimed at finding a cure and helping caregivers. We brought together our best researchers, healthcare providers, public universities, and top political leadership to rally the region and fight the disease. Mayor Kevin Falconer, philanthropist Arlene Shiley, Sheriff Bill Gore, and Mary Ball, President and CEO of Alzheimer's San Diego, and Bill Mobley from UCSD. They are among the leaders that are leading the charge on this very ambitious project. And now I'm excited to have Supervisor Gaspar's energy as a part of this effort. We've made good headway so far. We've strengthened the safety net for those with Alzheimer's. We've developed the region's first standards for the diagnosis and management of dementia. We received 2 big federal grants to beef up services for patients and training for healthcare workers. And we launched Collaboration for Cure, a research incubator that includes the region's top scientists. This has opened up a clinical new avenue in our hunt for a cure. And I do believe, find a cure, it'll be right here in San Diego. But families can't wait. They need help now. So to prepare our region for the surge in seniors and families that are overwhelmed by Alzheimer's, Supervisor Gaspar and I will ask the board next month to create a new position to help guide us forward. The person picked for this job would serve as our top advocate for the elderly, a sort of senior czar, big cheese, head honcho, you get the idea. A high-profile leader is needed to make sure that all the appropriate arms of county government are working together the best that they can, and to meet the needs of seniors, especially those with dementia. This new hire would elevate and champion senior services, marshaling all the resources we can within the county and outside the county. We need also to do all that we can to help seniors stay in their homes as long as possible. Aging in place is our future. If we don't, we will continue to see an increase in senior homelessness. Our regional account last year showed that the number of homeless adults 55 and older has doubled. This is heartbreaking, and it must be addressed. An expansion in our senior response teams could prove to be an important tool also. These teams would make sure those with dementia get the help that they need. So now let me tell you about an incident from last year that I think demonstrates a huge problem. A San Diego woman called authorities after her elderly husband turned verbally and physically aggressive. At one point during the call, he hit her hand with his cane so she would drop the phone. He was in his 80s. He had dementia. The wife needed help, and law enforcement eventually showed up, but the family before that was bounced from agency to agency to agency. The husband was put in jail, then in an emergency room, and he didn't belong in either one. The problem was there was no clear path to steer him to the services that he needed. Supervisor Gaspar and I will be asking our colleagues to bring together county staff with healthcare providers and Alzheimer's San Diego to develop that path. Grossmont Healthcare District and Sharp Grossmont Hospital want to help us pilot the idea. San Diegans with Alzheimer's and other types of dementia are seen by local hospitals roughly 30,000 times a year. And they are admitted to the hospital twice as often as people of the same age without Alzheimer's. They stay longer, are readmitted more often. The cost for hospital admissions are almost 3 times as high. There is a crisis in our hospital emergency rooms as a result of this. I've also heard of cases where a desperate family member drops off a relative with dementia at an emergency room and then just walks away for good because they just don't know what to do. They can't take it anymore. They're at the end of their rope. There's even a name for it. It's called granny dumping. Now, that may sound funny, but it is really, really tragic. Our oldest residents are among our most vulnerable. 3 years ago, we cracked down on shoddy nursing homes. District Attorney Bonnie Dumanis created a special prosecution unit to investigate assisted living homes operating on the wrong side of the law. We also proposed the creation of a nursing home rating system to help guide families to quality care. Supervisor Cox teamed up with me on this. It was an audacious goal. Few counties have tried this, and believe me, I know why. But we're close. We're close to rolling it out. So making it easier to age in place, going after those who commit elder abuse, creating a top-notch advocate for seniors, connecting with those with dementia to the right services at the right time. These types of improvements are the least we can do for a generation that gave so much to this region and to our nation. It's all about helping families, helping consumers, which brings me to number 5. There's an app for that. We're always looking for ways to make it easier to hear from our public. And Supervisor Roberts has taken a leadership role in bringing technology to county services, especially when it comes to saving lives and enhancing fire protection. So today we're making available a new tool to make county government more tech-friendly. It's a new app that allows residents to report non-emergency problems, and we're calling it Tell Us Now. And it's available on a smartphone near you, probably in your pocket or your purse. Want a pothole filled? Think a gas station is ripping you off? Got a problem with graffiti? Well, fire up that app and let us know. Actually, we're not the first on this. Other governments have created similar apps. So hats off to the city of San Diego for helping lead the way on this. We're all about better, cheaper, faster, and this is another way to do just that. But our most important job is keeping the public safe, which leads me to number 6. Stay battle ready. Since the horrific Cedar Fire and other firestorms in 2003, We have invested more than $400 million to beef up our fire and emergency services. Today, we have more firefighters, more aircraft, more paramedics. We have better fire engines, better equipment, and new stations. We established a unifying command across most of our backcountry, led by our local CAL FIRE chief, Tony Meacham. And Tony, you're the best. And I want to thank him and all our firefighters for all they do year-round. And if you would please stand at this time so we can recognize you, give you a big round of applause. I think there are more firefighters out there than just Tony. Come on, come on. Here. Our improvements are paying off for property owners. Last month, many in our backcountry became eligible for lower insurance rates thanks to our investment since 2003. This could affect nearly 9,000 parcels in more than 20 communities. We have never been more battle ready, and we're not about to let down our guard. And the same goes for crime and punishment. Sheriff Gore and his deputies put their lives on the line each day to keep us safe and sound. And next time you see a deputy, and there are a few here, be sure to thank them and even go up and give them a hug. They are truly our heroes. So will all of the law enforcement officers in the room please stand so we can recognize you. Thank you very much, and thanks for that coffee card out there too, DSA. My top priority has been and will continue to be to make sure that they, our law enforcement officers, our deputies, and all those in the field have the tools to do their job. And they need those tools to keep our neighborhoods and our communities safe. Well, we've got a hell of a new tool right in the works as we speak. Right here on this county campus, we're building a new 150,000 square foot crime lab. Call it CSI San Diego. We're also upgrading our emergency communication system and have increased a number of psychiatric teams that can respond to a mental health crisis. We've also taken aim at sex slavery. The pimping of young girls sometimes it's called human trafficking, but you get more of the idea if I say sex slavery. That's what it is. This is the pimping of young girls, and it's even more common than we feared. And we're talking about girls as young as 13 years old. A major study was done by local researchers in 2015, and they found that almost 12,000, mostly underage girls, have fallen victim to this horrific crime. The same study estimated it's an $810 million industry, and that's just right here in San Diego County. So ending sex slavery has become one of the region's top public safety priorities, and our district attorney, again, Bonnie Dumanis, is leading the way. And I want to thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie, and your staff for all that you're doing. We've created an advisory board and a law enforcement task force to combat this crime. We've conducted law enforcement sweeps and educated high schools and the hotel-motel industry on how to identify and report this crime. We've launched a public awareness campaign with billboards that has led to a big jump in calls. Now, we're moving more closely to work with teachers to help them tackle this deeply troubling issue in the classroom. The idea that sex slavery happens right here in our region, right here, right now, in 2017, is a tough, tough thing to admit. But no one has worked harder to open our eyes to this horrendous crime than educator Janae Luttrell. Janae works with East County's largest school district, Grossmont, and she's here with us today. Janae is on the front lines educating high school principals, teachers, and families about human trafficking. She educated me. She fights the good fight, and not just against sex slavery. She's made it her mission to tackle tough, thorny issues, like cultural differences, like race relations, like the tensions in our nation between some ethnic groups and law enforcement. Those tensions came up again last fall following a shooting involving an African American man and the El Cajon police. The tragic incident led to a lot of anger and a lot of street protests. But it made Janae's mission even more important, more urgent, which brings me to number 7 in my 7 in 17 list. Building a bond. Janae is the creator of Camp Lead. Camp Lead is a special camp for high school students. It is held several times a year, usually up in Pine Valley. And about 100 East County kids take part in each 3-day camp. Some of them are there because they're leaders on their campus. Others come from very challenging backgrounds, troubled families, even some gang members. Because Janae thinks big, she has big ambitions for the kids. She asks them to confront their fears and misconceptions about others. She wants them to see and address the gaps that often exist between rich and poor, abled and disabled, gay and straight, black and white, cop and community. The kids do team exercises, then they talk candidly about prejudice and discrimination. It's not just heart-to-heart, bare your soul stuff. The activities are rooted in what experts say works best. The goal, to give them the tools to be more resilient and successful and to open their horizons. So joining the students are several sheriff's deputies, except the teens don't know they're deputies at first. They have absolutely no idea. Because the deputies introduce themselves as camp counselors, they look and act and dress like regular folk. On the last day of the camp, they come out in uniform, and when they do, it's a real eye-opener.
Okay, so there's a stereotype around cops and law enforcement that they may be corrupt, or they may be trigger happy, are racist. We've been spending the past couple of days looking at breaking down stereotypes, right? And seeing people for who they are and learning to not judge one another. There have been some members of our community that have been here the entire time and you've gotten to know really well. And I would like to take this opportunity to reintroduce some of them to you.
There's a lot of nervousness as we're kind of standing outside in uniform, wondering how they're going to judge us.
If anything, I feel like this has definitely given me that chance to look at how I'm doing my job and look at how I am with the community.
I saw a lot of my guy friends talk with them, and they were crying with them. And then when they saw him go upstage, you know, that's my friend. I connected with them in these 2 days, and I had such a negative connotation towards cops, and now I can trust them. And trust is a very difficult thing to get.
I learned a lot about myself, my biases. I learned about not making judgments, not judging a book by its cover, and accepting people for who they are and coming in with an open mind.
It's a good thing. It's eye-opening. You'll grow as a person. Like it just helps a lot, and this just puts things into perspective.
It was an amazing experience, and I learned a lot new things about people and minds and loving and kindness and empathy about everybody.
Camp Lead may seem like a small step to address a big problem, but take enough small steps and we can go far. Since it was created 8 years ago, 10,000 teenagers have completed it. That's 10,000. These kids go back to school and become role models. So there's a positive ripple effect across the campus. Many at-risk kids who take part go on to have fewer absences from school and better grades, and they're less likely to lose their way in life. Janae Luttrell knows a lot about these kids. She was one of them. When she was 17, she dropped out of Monte Vista High School in Spring Valley. Her home life was troubled. Her options seemed limited. There was no camp lead around to help her see the bigger world. By her early 20s, she had 2 young kids. During the day, she cleaned houses, and at night, she was a waitress at Denny's. It was around then when she found adult mentors and found her calling, which was to educate others. To challenge us to take on tough issues, all of us, like sex slavery, like the need to build stronger ties between our cops and our communities. At a time when we are deeply divided as a nation, Camp Lead and Janae Luttrell are showing us one way forward. Others across California are also noticing. Janae used to be an administrator at Grossmont, but she was hired away last year by the San Mateo County Office of Education. Her new employer wants her to bring Camp Lead concept to Silicon Valley. That's a big deal. In the next few weeks, I will formally ask the county to support and expand this timely and successful program in our region. Janae's mission should be our mission. So as part of the State of the County each year, the chair of the Board of Supervisors honors someone who embodies the best of our region through their good deeds. And Janae, through your leadership on fighting sex slavery, for your work on building community bonds, for being a conscience of the community and a role model for all of us, I'd like to honor you with the 2017 Guardian of the Water Award. I'd also like to recognize others with Camp Lead who are with us today. And please stand as I mention your name. Joining Janae, our Sheriff's Deputy, Captain Hank Turner. Deputy Heather Arthur. And students, Ashley Alvarez. Zach Foster, and Cameron Romanuk. Kids like Ashley, Zach, and Cameron, these are our future leaders, and that's what today is about. That's what my 7 and 17 is about, preparing for the future, preparing for a new generation of county leaders, and making sure we pass on a government that is in an even better position to keep our region safe and fiscally sound. That's the job in front of us. Now let's get to work. Thank you very much.